Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Gamers Watch podcast. My name is Harry and I'm joined by
Shaun
and nobody else because for the fourth episode in a row it's just us award winners, just me and Shaun, the winners of the awards, speaking to you directly. We will be getting people on again soon, but for the time being it works with us, other people are busy, and we're the ones that won the award, aren't we, Shaun?
I believe so, yeah. I think it's our names that are on that trophy.
We did win the award. We did. Now, just before we start the podcast, just wanted to say thank you to all of our new followers on Twitter. As everybody here knows, we've gone to hell and back with Twitter support. We still haven't got our old page back. However, our new Twitter page actually now has more followers than the old one, which is great. But one thing that really, really helps this podcast is actually word of mouth. There's only so much sort of promotional stuff that we can actually do that gets anywhere without us being auto-flagged as spam by Twitter's algorithms and then banning us, and then we lose all traction whatsoever. So if you do enjoy this show, we would massively appreciate it if you just share it with a few people. You know, if you see anyone asking for podcast recommendations, just mention our name. If you know anyone that's just got themselves an Xbox or they're looking to get into gaming, or even if they just want to listen to two fucking award-winning idiots talk about games, then please do share our show, because it means the world to us and it does really go a long way helping us grow this podcast forward. So thank you to everyone who's listened to all of our shows so far. I know there's a few of you still out there, and we've got some answers for last week's game in 60 seconds, don't we, Shaun?
We do indeed.
So do you want to go through yours first?
Yeah, so mine was those quintuplets need a wash.
Which, to be honest, Shaun, is like my favourite one that you've ever done. And exactly like you said last week, I love how you went from like this really intricate riddle about weapons and space and planets.
Dropping ratchet and clank hints.
And now yours is just like that bloody mucky quintuplet, which is fucking brilliant. Shaun, what game do you mean when you say that those quintuplets could do with a wash?
I mean Dirt 5.
That's the best one you've ever done. It's the best one you've ever done, Shaun. It's so good.
I went through multiple emotions when I thought of that. I was ashamed of myself. I was pissing myself laughing.
Mate, it's good content. Don't worry. We're all about that content. All that we care about on this show is getting content that we can put into 59-second highlight clips. That's all we care about.
Yep.
And, you know, being sponsored and making money and winning awards, which we've done one of those things, so...
Well, 1.5. We've been sponsored, sort of, but half of the sponsors don't get
and
back
we
to us.
will be talking a little bit later about a new sponsor for the show, by the way. We've actually got some really good news about that, and this isn't a joke this time. We actually have got some good news. But I need to say my game in 60 seconds now. So my one was That Vacuum Needs a Funeral, and that is Dead Space. Because space is a vacuum, and what happens when things die is you email Twitter support, you get nothing back, and then you declare it dead.
You make a captain's log.
Yeah, you make a captain's log, and you really piss off the random person at Twitter support who I think they look at our emails and they just throw them in the bin.
I doubt they even
point.
It probably goes into their fucking spam folder.
Probably. Because that's what they flagged us as.
No.
Oh, man. So, Shaun, you've got a new game in 60 seconds. Do you want to shoot with that one?
Yes, it is. That Shinobi GPS is great.
Oh, it's such a good clue. It's so good.
That Shinobi GPS is great, and I'm hoping I pronounced Shinobi
so
right.
So much. Yeah, you did, yeah. So, my one is probably the worst one I've done so far. So, I've got to compose myself a little bit. Whew. So my one is that old man keeps looking on his laptop and he wants to lick a cloud's anus.
I knew it was coming and I still couldn't keep it in.
So what game could that be about? That old man is looking online and he wants to lick a cloud's anus. If you know what that is, tweet at us, and if you get both of them right, what will we tell them to do, Shaun?
Get a life.
No, get a fucking life.
I'll get a fucking life, sorry.
Yeah, we don't respect our listeners, Shaun. We insult them.
I don't think we're going to go that harsh.
Yeah, get a fucking life.
You'll get a tiny bit of kudos for getting Harry's one, because that is genuinely ridiculous. And then you'll get told to get a fucking life.
The thing is, what I quite like is that this game in 60 seconds, it gives people a way to sort of like look into ourselves, look into who we are as people. You thought of your one, your Dirt 5 one, and you were like truly ashamed that you thought of something that stupid. And I say my one that I've just said, and I think, fuck me, I'm a genius.
It's like,
that's the difference.
It's one of those ones where, so like me and my friends Matt and Luke, we are terrible for making up like awful puns when we're like joking around on party chat or at each other's houses. And it's one of those things where if someone else says it, you're like, wow, that's terrible. But if you say it,
if you say it,
yeah, it's the best pun ever, and there's no one else that can say otherwise.
Oh well, Shaun, I'll tell you what. If you want to hear a pun-ish joke, oh man, I've got a good one. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so a friend of mine always wanted to be hit by a steam train. It finally happened, and he was chuffed to bits.
Oh, God.
Chuffed to bits. Should we move on, Shaun?
It just reminded me of another pun I done the other week. It's not even a pun, it's just ridiculous. I was making breakfast, and basically I very rarely say puns in front of Lucia for some reason. I think I don't want her to think that I'm stupid or like my sense of humour is just ridiculous. But we was making breakfast, and I was toasting some hot cross buns, and for some reason, when they were finished, I just shouted out "hot cross duns," and the look that I got back.
Hot cross duns. Oh my God, Shaun, that's so good.
So every time we've got hot cross buns now, she's cursed to hear that pun.
Hot cross duns. Oh, Shaun, that was so good. Well, I'm stealing that one, 100%. That's mine now.
You need to see what Shannon's reaction is, and we can compare the two.
That is an award-winning pun. Whew. That was a good one. Shaun, shall we move on to talk about video games?
Yeah. I suppose we better.
Right. So, as we always do every week, we put a question to our audience and to our fans and to, the people that listen to our award-winning show. And we just ask them basically just like a random question that we're thinking about. But this week, actually, this question was asked by quite a few of our listeners, actually. And it was about online gaming. It's not something that we really talk about much on here, but, we play Sea of Thieves a bit more. I used to play Gears and Halo 3 with a lot of my mates. And so, yeah, we just sort of thought, let's ask about people's experiences with online gaming. Positive only. So if you have commented on this, and it's a negative comment, we won't be mentioning it because we just don't want to, really. So, Shaun, do you want to talk about... We're negative
enough as it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have literally been called the two most negative people ever. So,
positivity doesn't win awards. What can we say?
It doesn't. Negativity wins awards. So, yeah, fuck it. Let's just read the really negative ones, actually.
No. Favourite.
So, Shaun, what's your sort of favourite or first experience in online gaming?
From me personally?
Yeah.
Oh... I see, I'm not really an online gamer, so there's very few moments, but I guess... See, my like gamer tag, Shaun the Sheriff, that I use for basically everything, came from Modern Warfare 2. And
really?
Because my gamer tag before that was terrible. It was Shawnee666, because Shawnee was what I just got called by tons of people. And while I was making my gamer tag, I was listening to Number of the Beast from Iron Maiden.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, Shawnee666. But yeah, anyway, I was playing Modern Warfare 2. That I actually did end up playing quite a bit with the Matt and Luke that I just mentioned about the puns. But because I'm not good at online games in the slightest, so I was terrible at Modern Warfare 2. And we used to always play Search and Destroy, where you have like one life per round.
Yeah.
And because I didn't take it seriously in the slightest, whenever I was the last person left alive on our team, so I knew everyone was watching me and the pressure was on, I'd quickly find a place to hide and then swap my main gun for just dual-wield magnums. And
oh, for God's sake.
And basically just run out and try and see if I can get anyone. And sometimes I actually managed to, eventually got the hang of it and actually managed to like take out some teams and win a few rounds. So yeah,
but the majority of times
I died instantly. Basically, it was like a suicide run. But yeah, that's where the name Shaun the Sheriff came from, because I was dual wielding magnums.
I thought it was because you loved Woody so much.
That does work out as well. That Woody is like one of my favourite characters of all time. So it does work out. There we go. And also the Hey Howdy Hey, or Hey Hey that I always say, is a mix between Woody's Hey Howdy Hey and Krusty the Clown's Hey Hey.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad you don't say that on this podcast.
I used to say it.
It does. I know you did.
That was my curiosity.
It made my skin crawl every single time you said it.
Hey Howdy Hey.
Oh God, I'm getting like Vietnam flashbacks. Oh God, make it stop. Well, my favourite. Well, yeah, I'm not a big online gamer either, but my early memories of Xbox 360 was playing on Call of Duty with friends. However, not Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2. I wasn't a fan of the modern shooter. I'm still not a fan of the modern shooter. Call of Duty 3 was the game that I used to play with all of my mates. Specifically one map called Eder Dam, which it wasn't a particularly great map. It was just the one that we knew the best. And so my experience of Call of Duty can be summed up. Basically, it wasn't ranked. So there were no ranks, there was no prestiges. This was before sort of Call of Duty became a gambling simulator for children. And so it was just about being quite good at the game, which I wasn't. So me and my mate Gary, who's also written into the show quite a few times, we would just hop in a van or a Jeep, and we would just drive around aimlessly, one of us just firing a machine gun out of the back, and then the other one just like driving everywhere. And we would just kill everyone, and one of us would have like the most assists in the game and the other one would have the most kills in the game. But one day this really, really annoying Welsh kid, and I still remember his gamer tag, he was called Vocal Sonic, and then there was a number after it. He just kept following us everywhere. So it was me and about 5 of our mates. And we weren't in party chat, we were just talking in-game. And he kept following us everywhere. And because this was before ranked, you could swap teams. So we would just be on the Axis team and then he would follow us. And then we would swap over to the Allies and kill him a few times. But he would always swap over to us. And this wasn't just one game. He would see that we were online because obviously in the older 360 days, you could see who you'd been playing online with. And he would just join games that we were in. This went on for months. And then one day we realised that we could go in party chat. But because he had added one of us as a friend, he would just jump into our parties with us constantly. This went on for months. And I remember one day he was showing us offline, but he had jumped into our party, so we didn't see that he was there. And I remember saying, "Oh, this fucking Vocal Sonic kid is doing my head in. He's such a dick. Why don't he leave us alone? Clearly none of us like him." And we just heard this really lonely Welsh voice just go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he left and we never spoke to him again.
Oh my God.
And
wow.
That's my memory of Call of Duty 3.
Oh my God, that you just scarred a kid from online experiences for life.
Well, he was the same age as us. He was just fucking annoying.
Although
it's not my fault that he couldn't take a hint.
Although you saying about gamer tags has reminded me of 2 of the best gamer tags I've ever seen when I was playing online.
Okay.
And I think it was Halo.
I think I know them.
And I think I was going to say, I think you was playing with me and we came across 2 people called Sneaky Jefferson and Slippery Bird.
Slippery Bird. Yes. Sneaky Jefferson. We still use the phrase Sneaky Jefferson to this day.
Oh, I can't believe
to this day, we call people Sneaky Jeffersons.
Slippery Bird.
Oh, that was such a good game tag.
Best lobby of Halo I've ever seen. Sneaky Jefferson and Slippery Bird.
I don't know why they're so funny. Sneaky Jefferson. It's so funny. In my mind, all I can think of is the American President Jefferson just
tiptoeing around.
You're just tiptoeing around, just like, "Oh, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence," and then just like quickly waltzing away. Sneaky Jefferson, Slippery Bird. But we did get some good answers actually from the audience.
Yes.
There are a few negative ones on there. So just 13-year-olds saying that they shagged my mum. However, there was some really good ones on there, and most of them were related to Modern Warfare 2, RuneScape, and World of Warcraft. However, my mate Paul did mention GTA 4 on the Xbox 360. I completely forgot that game had online on it, and it was so much fun. It wasn't like GTA 5 where you level up and everybody's just got mega massive guns and cars and jet rocket ships and stuff. It was just, you're a random NPC, just do what you want to do and drive around Liberty City. Or they had specific game modes, and I remember one of them was Cops and Crooks. Don't know if you ever played that one, Shaun.
No, I never played it online, GTA 4.
So GTA 4 Cops and Crooks, one set of people were the police and the other set were the crooks. And you had to drive across the map from one point to another, get onto a helicopter and evade the police, basically. And it was so much fun. And the police respawned, but the crooks didn't. So if you died as the crooks, that was it, you were dead. And it was so much fun. But yeah, that was a good shout from Paul. Was there any that you saw in there, Shaun, that stuck out?
I was going to say Georgia mentioning World of Warcraft, because all the other ones are sort of PvP-based online experiences, whereas obviously World of Warcraft, unless you're doing the PvP mode, but it's mainly PvE, like cooperative. And I can relate to wasting many a week instead of a couple hours on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, see, we moan that going in for a quick sail on Sea of Thieves lasts 8 hours. Going for a quick walk in World of Warcraft is like 7 days.
Yeah, there's a reason you buy 3 months of subscription at a time.
Yeah.
You disappear for a quarter of a year.
And then nobody sees you for months on end.
Yep, you come out with a beard.
Now, there was another one that I did see as well, which was Battlefield 1942 that Lee said. So he actually originally started playing it after schools and at lunchtimes in a gaming club, and he used to be one of the IT technicians, and then that sort of overspilt into basically every Tuesday they get together and have like an Xbox Live Tuesday, and they still do that with people from all over the world. And that reminded me that we used to do a gamers club, and we used to play Delta Force and Unreal Tournament 3 as a huge LAN party in the IT department at our school that we went to, and that was just balls to the wall fun. It was great. And I remember one kid called Dean freaking out that he spent 10 minutes to get to this camping spot, and I followed him the entire way and knifed him when he got there, and he smashed his keyboard up. And then because it was a school keyboard, he had to pay for the keyboard because it was obviously school property. So that was quite funny.
God. The game of rage.
We didn't get as many responses as we did to the soundtrack ones, but all of the things that I can see in there, they don't talk about games, they talk about memories. So it's about people that they met, experiences that they had, funny things that happened. One of the comments made me laugh, and it said that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it made somebody from a boy into a man, which is true, because there was something about giving a 13-year-old a £15 Mad Catz headset that basically turned them into the worst human being ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But my memories of online gaming are Horde mode in Gears of War, it's Nazi zombies in World at War, it's Vocal Sonic in Call of Duty 3, it's Slippery Bird and Sneaky Jefferson. It's all just great time with friends. And I think that's why I love couch co-op so much.
Yeah, couch co-op is all the good parts of online gaming without any of the bad parts. That's why I like couch co-op and just hate online gaming the majority of the time.
Yeah, but I thought that it was just a bit of a departure from what we normally talk about, so I thought it was quite nice to see what people said. We will be putting another community question out as well before the next episode, so keep a lookout on the socials. And again, social media sort of picked our next segment as well, because we're going to be talking about our Game Pass and Play wildcard, which is chosen by the audience. So Shaun, what were we playing wildcard wise for this latest episode?
We were playing CyberShadow.
So do you want to just give a quick run through of what CyberShadow is for people who aren't aware?
I'm trying to think of how I'd explain it. Would I class it as a platformer? Yeah, I'd say it's like an action platformer, side-scrolling, and it's like the old pixely retro art style.
Yeah, it's a throwback, I would say. It's sort of a Shinobi sort of styled game, but with a bit more platforming and a little less sort of focus on combat, and it's more about sort of remembering what enemy attacks in what way. It's it's an interesting game. I've wanted to play it for a while. I've got some gripes with it. My main gripe is that I don't think it works very well as a platformer.
I think we're going to be on the same page for this one.
there's so much that I like about the game. The soundtrack is great. The variety of enemies is great. The checkpoint system is great.
Yeah.
The bosses are great. The platforming is not.
No.
It's clunky.
There's one thing you learn, one of the first things you learn when doing game design for platformers is to give your player a bit of leeway. And what that means is, say they go off the edge of a platform and then like half second later they press jump. You let them jump. Like, yeah. But this, I felt that was the one.
There's no grey area.
There's no. If
it's black or white.
Yeah, if you go off the edge and you press jump and it's like 0.01 seconds after you've left the edge, you're falling. You won't jump, and it just feels really frustrating and not clunky because it's not clunky controls.
See, my problem is it's a platforming game where jumping doesn't feel satisfying at all.
Yeah.
There's no satisfaction to making a jump at all. And that's an issue. And that's why I love, obviously the game that you'll be reviewing in the next episode is Katana Zero. That's why I love Katana Zero so much, because you have weight behind the button press. And I know that sounds a bit stupid, but there's no sort of weight behind any of the platforming. It's sort of like the platform's there to get in the way. And I don't like that feeling of it. But don't get me wrong, it's a good game. It's very reminiscent of sort of Symphony of the Night, Shinobi style games, but there's just something about it that's holding me back from playing it anymore.
Yeah,
which is annoying because I've wanted to play it for so long and it looks great. I think it looks really nice. The art style of the game is great. The soundtrack is fantastic. The sound design is brilliant, but I don't like jumping in it, and that's a big problem for a platformer.
Yeah, I think the best way I've thought about how I could describe it was because it's published by Yacht Club Games, which is the people that made Shovel Knight, and one of the things that's key to making a good retro game, I guess, is you don't make it how they were when they were like first coming out. You make it how people remembered it being.
Yeah.
So like Shovel Knight, if you play it and you used to play like games like that, you will think that's what the games are like, but it's not, because they're sort of updated and the controls are tighter and that. CyberShadow is how they were, so the controls are really like they're not tight controls, and some bits are just a bit off. So I think that's the only way I could think to describe it.
It feels like they were so busy making a retro game try to be a modern game that they just forgot and just made a retro game.
Yeah, basically they made a true retro game instead of making how people remember retro games being. Yeah,
they got all the good things about retro games, the art style, the sound design, the character design, the enemy variations, and then they also got all the bad things about old games, like the fact that their hitboxes are ridiculous, and that the like you say, the leeway for the jumps, there is none, and there's no sense of sort of oomph when you beat someone or defeat a boss. There's just no satisfaction to anything you do. You sort of feel like you're beating something just to get to a checkpoint, which is all the older games used to be, whereas that's not what people are looking for anymore. It's not. Checkpoints were great when you had to put 20p in the machine. They're not so great anymore, which is a frustration, because other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
But just let down by sort of far too retro feeling controls, which is annoying.
Yeah, it wasn't even though it's supposed to be a retro game, it wasn't modernized enough, if that makes any sense. A
lot of retro games now are they're like an ode to a retro game. They're sort of this is what they could have been like if they were made now. Whereas this was just, let's make an old game.
Yeah, so like if you play the like really good retro games, like I said, Shovel Knight, if you play it, while you're playing it, you're like, this is the good old days of gaming. If you go and play a game like Shovel Knight when they were first coming out, after playing Shovel Knight, you'll be like,
go and play Contra, go and play Golden Axe 2, go and play original Battletoads. They are not fun games to play anymore.
Yeah, they have not aged well.
No, and that's my problem, is that CyberShadow hasn't aged well and it's been out for less than a year.
That is the best way to sum it up, I think.
Yep. It's worth at least an hour or so.
Oh, it's definitely worth trying.
Yeah, 100%. So shall we see... Because I don't know what we're playing next, by the way. The last I left it is the developer of one of the games that we asked to vote on, voted and retweeted, and then we got a load of responses to it. So...
Oh man, we got like... I think it was in the 50s, maybe, the amount of votes.
It was. So, just by the way, as an aside, we are hoping to plan a Q&A session with Jay Tholen, who is the creator of one of the games. We've been speaking on Twitter. He's really up for it. We just need to find out how we can do it. And wouldn't you know it, Jay's game is the winner. So, Shaun, we will be playing Hypnospace Outlaw. And I looked at screenshots and gameplay for these 3 games. So the 3 games were Children of Morta, Hypnospace Outlaw, and The Gardens Between. And so I looked at sort of gameplay footage and I looked at some screenshots for all 3 of these games. And I could easily tell you what Children of Morta and Gardens Between are about. I have not got a fucking clue what we're about to play, Shaun.
I'm glad you don't. I don't either. When you
No idea.
When
I'm
the
really
wildcard
looking
vote
forward
started,
to it though.
Yeah,
I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
When the wildcard vote started, I was at work and I'd just gone on my break. So I was like, I'll check out, like, have a quick look at the games. Searched, what is it? Hypnospace?
Hypnospace Outlaw is a 90s
Hypnospace
browser-based simulation game.
So I searched it on Google for a couple of screenshots, and genuinely, when I saw the screenshots, I looked up to make sure I'd spelt the name right, because I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at.
No idea.
And then I think, did I actually send you a message as well saying, what
the fuck is this game? It's a 90s browser simulation-based game. What can I say?
I'm genuinely curious to try this.
I'm really excited.
Can't wait.
I'm really excited. So that is what we will be discussing in 2 weeks' time. So thank you to the audience and thank you to Jay for making the game and also getting in contact with us. And sort of watch this space because we may have some news soon of another Q&A, which I think is great. You know, we're an award-winning podcast. It's paying its dues already.
Yeah, gotta love a good Q&A.
So Shaun, what I'm about to talk about is something, and I just basically saw a mock-up picture. I don't know if you saw it as well.
No, I've seen your description of it, but I haven't actually seen the picture.
I thought that it might just be a cool little thing to talk about, maybe even just for 5 minutes before we talk about Mortal Kombat. So, somebody mocked up on Twitter a really good idea for what Microsoft could do going forward. So, Google Stadia has obviously tried and failed to get into the cloud-based gaming sphere. However, Xbox are pulling it off. So the Xbox Game Pass app on your phone, you can stream games directly to your phone, and some of them you can even play touchscreen. So the games we played last week, Carto and Slay the Spire, both of those games you can use touchscreen controls. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, you can use touchscreen controls. Monster Hunter World, touchscreen controls. Sea of Thieves and Monster Hunter, both of them you can play through your phone, streamed live to your phone with touchscreen controls. So
I need to give that a go.
I played Slay the Spire with it, mate. It was fucking brilliant.
I can see that working with touchscreen controls though, but how the fuck does Monster Hunter World work with touchscreen?
Mate, the analog sticks are on the screen and then they've laid the buttons out so they're really easy to reach. Dude, seriously, it's great.
I'm going to give that a go after this.
And so I saw a picture that someone mocked up, and it was called the Xbox Series C, which is obviously for cloud.
Yeah.
And essentially what it was a HDMI stick, like a Google Chrome, but made by Microsoft that streams directly to your TV. I mean, wouldn't that just be amazing?
It would.
You think Amazon Fire Sticks exist?
Mm.
You could just get a Microsoft Series, an Xbox Series C, plug it into your TV. It could cost £100, plug it into your TV, and you could stream every single Game Pass game to your TV directly. All you would need is a Bluetooth controller, which all of the Xbox controllers are anyway.
Yeah.
And it would mean that people would be able to get involved in next-gen gaming through their TV directly with no need to get a £500 console. What do you think about that idea?
I don't think that would work. Mainly because the people Xbox is going to be targeting are, I don't want to use the word, but gamers. So, proper gamers. And they're always going to have a platform, no matter what it is. So I think the way Microsoft's going to go with it... But do you not think,
though, for, say, a mainly PC gamer who wants to play the new Halo or the new Gears, or maybe they want the whole library of Game Pass, they could just plug their Series C into the back of their monitor and stream directly and have full access to the Game Pass library, but through their PC.
No, I think they'll use Game Pass PC with a LAN connection into their PC and then stream it from their PC to the TV. I reckon, with the way I can see Microsoft going with Game Pass and with Xbox, is instead of having a device like that and going like the way of Google with Stadia or like stuff like that, it'll more be they'll just try and be on different platforms. So you can get Game Pass on Xbox, you can get it on PC. I hope this happens at some point, but like Game Pass on the Switch.
That would be cool.
So I think it'll be more
because I have seen
people
on Twitter say how much of a power move it would be to have an Xbox Game Pass app on your PS5.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. I think PS5 might be one of the last things they would ever do if that was ever possible. But I think that's the way Microsoft will try and go, because the people they're targeting, or the people that will play Game Pass, are like dedicated gamers. So they're always going to have a platform. So if you've got a platform, you're not going to pay £100 for a HDMI stick sort of thing.
Well, people already had PCs and they bought into Stadia.
Yeah, but look how that worked out for them.
Well, what about then a monthly subscription, like with All Access? You know, I pay £29 a month for All Access and I get my Series X plus 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate. What if there was a similar thing with the Series C, where you paid the price of Game Pass Ultimate plus maybe a £5 a month subscription fee, and then it's costing you, £20, and you get the Series C, it's paid off after a year, and then you just carry on with your Game Pass subscription? That could work, couldn't it? Because,
no, because
Amazon Fire Sticks exist.
You'd just pay £20 a month to do All Access for an Xbox Series S.
I guess so, yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
I don't know, I can't see Microsoft going that way with like HDMI stick. I can see them, instead of creating more hardware for Game Pass to be
just opening up Game Pass.
Yeah, it'll be more software based, so you'll be able to access Game Pass on more and more platforms, sort of thing, but not platforms that Microsoft have made themselves, apart from obviously the Xbox. That's the way I can see it going, because if you're targeting people that love games, so are obviously going to have some game console or PC as it is, why would you spend money making hardware that you've then got to try and sell onto them when you can just say to them, you can give us money now on the platform you already got? Yeah,
that does make sense.
But I do think they will. But then you can never say no, because cloud gaming, I guess, is one of the...
I think the biggest problem with cloud gaming is bandwidth speeds.
Yeah, because ours in the UK is fucking dreadful.
However, Starlink is now available where we live, but here's the caveat. It costs £800 to install a Starlink satellite dish on your house.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Would you pay £800 plus your ISP fee per month just to have faster broadband?
No.
I mean, bearing in mind, it's like a terabyte, but still, I ain't paying that much money.
No,
not a chance.
I'd have to win multiple awards to be able to afford that.
So really, we just need one more award.
Pretty much, yeah.
We've already won one.
So we've got to like the £400 mark. So we're just below a Series X again.
Now we've obviously spoken once or twice about our podcast win. I did just want to quickly mention that we are in sort of group chats with lots of other podcasts, and they've been giving us loads of support over the last few months. And I actually saw a tweet that was put out the other day about how the podcast community is just like the best community to be in because everybody's so helpful. However, I would also argue that the Sea of Thieves community is one of the best communities that I've ever been involved with. They're just so lovely. And it's a game that, I'll admit quite happily that we slept on it for quite a while, didn't we, Shaun?
Yeah, I think we played it at launch, so that was a bit of a put off for quite a while.
Yeah, that was a mistake, playing a game when it was released.
playing a live service game when it was released.
But have you had, some good experiences so far? Because we obviously talked a bit earlier on about the sort of online gaming, and all of it was basically being told that 10-year-olds had fucked my mum. But how have you felt, like, even when we've been griefed in games, it's still been fun?
Yeah, it's still fun. It's frustrating still at the same time. Like, so since playing Sea of Thieves, I've been like going on the forums and stuff like that just to research different bits and like look up stuff. And what I'm about to say is going to alienate, I think, at least half of the players from Sea of Thieves.
Oh God.
I honestly think there should be some form of PvE servers.
Yeah,
Mainly,
see, I'm the same.
Yeah, but it makes me laugh.
Maybe not even PvE servers. Maybe just make the outposts PvE.
All that, yeah, that would work. But it's made me laugh going through the forums and that, and like looking at the different community discussions, because basically the PvP people, that all they want to do is go around, steal loot, sink ships, which is fine. You can do that if you want. But their argument against PvE servers, whenever they're brought up countless times, is that's not what the game is, sort of thing. Like, you can't tell Rare to change the game to suit you. And then they also go on about how Rare's designed a game that's giving you tools but not rules. And it's like, well, there is a rule, because apparently you have to do PvP. And then,
yeah, which in of itself is a rule.
Yeah, and then they made the arena, which is a PvP only mode, basically.
Which is just a very small area where you all go and kill each other.
Yeah, which no one asked for. So why can't we have a PvE area? And then
I think the easiest way around it is just make outposts so that you can't have weapons. Easy peasy done.
Outposts and stuff. It's mainly been the tall tales that it's been bugging me with, because you don't have any loot that's worth anything to someone else when you're doing a tall tale. So it's a pain in the fucking ass when you're 2 hours into a tall tale and then someone decides to sink your ship, because obviously they don't know if you've got treasure or not. So, and they don't know you're doing a tall tale. But then because some of the checkpoints in tall tales are just weird placements, you end up having to like sail across the whole fucking length of the map just to get back to where you were.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. However,
but it's funny watching the
that is where I feel that's why I love playing Sea of Thieves with friends, is because it's a difficult game to play solo. Even just us two playing it, when there's another ship by, one of us will notice and we can get out of there. So that's why I won't ever play Sea of Thieves solo, purely because I don't get the same enjoyment out of it as I do physically playing with people I know. But I think there needs to be PvE in that game eventually, which I hope they'll bring in. And who knows, if enough people say, I can't do these fucking tall tales, then maybe they will. But the general sort of messages that we've received, because we do a lot of promotional work on Twitter. We are quite active with the community, and we do put a lot of tweets out to people, even if they're just talking about a game that we've played about, just to say, hey, we're playing this game. And I tell you what, who the most receptive people are, they are the Sea of Thieves players. And I think I realise why, Shaun. Because Sea of Thieves is a game that's been designed to make content for. So a lot of people that play Sea of Thieves play it while they're streaming, or while they're on Twitch, or while they're on what used to be Mixer. And I think that the reason that the Sea of Thieves community have been so open about us sort of suggesting our podcast is that they want to hear about other people's experience in the game that they enjoy too. And I just really like that. I think it's a nice community to be a part of, and it does make it a lot easier to do our promotional work, because we know people won't complain, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just really happy that Tom got us back into Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, there's definitely a few things that still sort of do niggle me a bit, and PvE is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, like I've always said, I'm not that huge on PvP and competitive gaming as it is, so I was always gonna prefer PvE in Sea of Thieves. But it just makes me laugh reading people's responses where they're like, so if someone asks for PvE, they're like, well, no, because that will split the player base. And I'm like, well, they've done that with the arena. And then
and one of the other arguments is that it's a game about pirates, but it's not. It's a game where you fight megalodons and krakens. And the last I checked, Captain Bluebeard didn't ever fight a megalodon.
Yeah, and the last I checked, it was also a video game where you can change anything, unlike reality.
Yeah, where you can ride around in a bright pink pinata boat with confetti cannons.
Yeah. And my favourite one is always basically saying how there won't be anyone to steal loot from if they make a PvE server. And it's like, well, surely that means that PvE is the favourable mode, and people shouldn't have to play the game the way you want to because you enjoy it that way, whereas they don't, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, we're so shit at the game anyway that when people do sink our ships, we barely ever have loot on it.
Oh,
anyway.
We got fuck all on it.
Yeah, like, you're stealing from the poor. Like, great. Oh no, you stole my one treasure chest full of bananas. Oh no. Oh, what am I going to do now that I have to refill on bananas? Oh, no.
That's all right.
Which is why it makes it even more satisfying when we blow the fuck out of people, because they always have shit that we can steal.
Yeah.
Which I think just negated your argument.
Well, no, because I'd still rather
just be left to do some fishing.
Yeah, just let me sail the seas and solve like treasure chest maps and all that.
Just let us play our accordions and our drums and catch some little fish boys.
And then, oh no, there's another thing. I'm going to start going off on if I don't finish on this one.
Okay.
The reason against PvE as well is apparently people just use it to grind their reputation and unlock stuff that's an unfair advantage. I'm like, the only thing you can unlock is fucking cosmetics.
Yeah, all you can unlock is cosmetic stuff.
Literally doesn't make a difference to your game.
Yeah, imagine being annoyed that somebody else has got something.
Or he's got a hat and he cheated because he grinded. He didn't cheat. He still had to grind. It's his choice if he puts 50 fucking hours into it doing nothing.
Instead of 70.
Yeah, literally don't make a difference. Give me PvE.
Well, thank you, Shaun, for ruining Sea of Thieves for our listeners. We probably won't be talking about Sea of Thieves again.
Tune in next week for the final Tales from the Tavern.
Yeah, which is that everybody on the server ganged on Shaun and now he can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to finish on something a bit different. We normally finish on an embarrassing story, but we don't have any embarrassing stories because we're award-winning podcast hosts. However, a trailer released a few days ago for a gaming movie, and I made you watch it, literally 10 minutes before we started recording, and it is the Mortal Kombat film. Now look, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be an Oscar winner, but how sick does that film look?
It actually looked really good. I thought you were being sarcastic when you said to watch it, it looks amazing.
No, it looks so cool. I thought it was going to
be like joke, but it genuinely looks amazing.
It looks like a video game movie where they've taken the video game aspect of it and they've gone like, right, it's a video game, let's make it feel like a video game.
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly, obviously not like the Tomb Raider film that had Angelina Jolie trying to be really gritty and realistic. They're like, it's a game about people that punch each other's faces off. Let's make it about that. Yeah, and it just looks so good. Like, properly cheesy, really just gory and violent. There's a scene in it that when I was listening to you watch the trailer, you went, oh my God! And it was the bit where he like slices the dude's head in half with the knife on a stick.
Yeah, he like lobs it straight into the middle of his head and then like yanks it so his head like slices in half while he also goes face planting into the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, jeez.
And it brought me up sort of an idea that I just wanted to spend 5 minutes on. Now, do you prefer video games based on movies or movies based on video games?
Ooh.
Because in my mind...
Oh man, that is tough.
In my mind, one of the best games ever made is a tie-in movie game, and it's Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
However, there is also a film that came out, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Rampage with The Rock. Have you watched that?
No, I haven't seen it.
It is one of the dumbest films ever, but it's based on a video game, and it's about a giant, like, 300-foot tall gorilla that has to stop a 1,000-foot crocodile and a 500-foot wolf from destroying Detroit.
Of course.
And it's so cheesy and so shit, but I love it. But yeah, do you prefer a good video game tie-in movie, or do you prefer a good game tie-in film?
I think I'm gonna go for a good film based on a game because all I ever do really is game as it is. So it's always nice to see
someone's
stuff outside of stuff like outside of that of the games industry. So like best example is Detective Pikachu.
Oh, what a film that is.
Yeah, so like watching that with my family who hate video games with a passion, but enjoying Pokemon sort of thing because it's in a movie form, not a game form. Therefore, it's good.
That's a good point. I like that. I would still say I prefer a good movie tie-in game.
I do like them.
Purely just based on Spider-Man 2. However, Shaun, the reason that I'm bringing up films is I wanted to just show you something. So one of our podcast friends, which is Game for a Movie podcast, who actually were nominated for the same award that we ended up winning because we're the award-winning podcast. But the Game for a Movie podcast, they've got some of the worst films ever, and they're doing a vote off to see what terrible film they need to watch. And I said they should watch 1988's film The Brain. Do you remember that film?
Unfortunately, so yeah.
The giant brain that takes over a town, and it's just crap.
I think so. Anyway, we're in this. Made me watch it.
It's so bad, but we're in this DM group chat, and one of our friends in that DM group was like, "That looks like this film from the 90s." And I don't want to spoil what the film's about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a picture now, Shaun.
Okay.
And as I send it to you now, they said it's a film about a man whose brain is put inside a mechanical T-Rex. And I remember this film. Have you seen the picture, Shaun?
No, I was waiting for the full description. I'm pressing it now. What the fuck is that?
That is Tammy and the T-Rex. And I remember this film now. Do you see the name of the actor in the top right-hand corner?
Oh my god, what?
Yeah.
Is that the Fast
Denise Richards and Paul Walker. So I'm going to send you the trailer after we finish recording in a minute, and you are going to want to watch this film immediately. It's a film about Paul Walker going into a coma and having his brain removed and put into a mechanical T-Rex, and he then destroys a town while killing everybody as the police chase him, and it's insane, and you need to watch it.
Oh my god.
How good does that look?
It looks good in a terrible sort of way.
Oh, I've watched it. It's really shit. But it's like the Feast films.
Oh,
it's
Jesus
so bad,
Christ, I forgot about them as well.
Stop watching those films. The fucking scene in Feast with the Combine Harvester is one of the worst, but also the best scenes ever in a film.
It's the baby scene that gets me.
Oh my god.
Where he's running away with the baby.
We can't mention the baby scene because we might upset people, but it's hilarious.
Just search baby scene Feast.
Or just don't, because it's really bad.
It's hilarious.
But I wanted to end the podcast showing you the 1994 film starring Denise Richards and Paul Walker called Tammy and the T-Rex.
I need to watch this.
It looks shit, doesn't it?
It's now, 11:15 at night, and I want to watch it now.
Yeah, I want to watch it twice. And I've already seen it.
Have you watched it recently after remembering it?
No, I watched it about 3 or 4 years ago.
Ah, okay.
But I also watched it when I was a kid. I have this vague memory of me watching a film about a killer T-Rex when I was a kid. And then when they mentioned, like, oh, I remember this film, and I quickly searched man's brain put in dinosaur, and it was the first thing that came up. And yeah, straight away, it's so 90s, it's unreal.
Oh, God.
So when we next record, I'm hoping that we both will have watched Tammy and the T-Rex.
I definitely would have watched it by then. Definitely.
We'll keep you all updated.
I can't believe that. I'm still looking at it. What?
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful.
It's just
we'll put a picture up of the poster on our Twitter so that you can all see it.
Oh, it's going to be the episode image.
Oh, really?
100%. That guy...
The doctor, are you looking at?
I'm looking at the doctor. I've only just noticed him. I've just sent you a zoomed in screenshot of him.
And he's plucking at a brain. And there's a dude underneath him with no head.
Oh yeah. What?
Mate, it's fucking bonkers.
What even is this? Just a T-Rex eating someone in the other...
And it's the same T-Rex. Dude, it's the same T-Rex in the foreground as it is in the background.
What the fuck?
But the T-Rex is also Paul Walker.
Oh, God.
It's incredible. We'll leave it on that. We will leave this episode on the thought of Paul Walker as a T-Rex.
This is going to be an absolute
Shaun, when we're doing the
rebrand,
can we rebrand Gamers Watch to look like the logo of Tammy and the T-Rex?
Tammy and the Gamers Watch.
Yes.
Gamers and the Watch.
Can you please try and get our logo to look something like that?
I could, whether I want to.
That's a complete other story.
That's a completely different thing. And there's more stuff you notice the longer you look at it.
It's terrible. Shaun, I'm going to end the podcast and you just keep looking at it. Don't worry.
Why is the T-Rex hugging the woman in it?
Because they're in love. That's her boyfriend.
No, it's not like she doesn't...
Yeah, she kisses him and everything.
Oh,
they make out.
God.
She makes out with the T-Rex.
What?
Seriously.
I can't. This is fucking film.
We're going to end the podcast now. I'm going to send you the trailer, and within the next 2 weeks, we have to watch this film. All right?
Yeah, I'll watch it within the next few days. 100%.
Let me know how it gets on. For everybody that's still listening, thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Harry. Who have you been?
Shaun, apparently.
Shaun the
Award-winning Shaun.
Award-winning. You could be award-winning Shaun. I'm award-winning Harry. As we said at the start of this podcast, if you've enjoyed what you've listened to, which, to be honest, you probably haven't, please do share this podcast with people that you know. Give us a follow on Twitter. It really does help. And we will see you in 1 week's time. And in 2 weeks' time, we are hoping to discuss Tammy and the T-Rex. So until then, all the best, and we'll see you soon.
See you later.